Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those charts. So yeah, as you can see, Bitcoin well has had an almost perfect backtest of this resistance zone. Old support, new resistance, and yeah, I'm currently getting rejected from it. This is what I was talking about in last night's video, that whilst we are just below this level, you have to have a bearish bias and expect further downward pricing, which is well, this is basically why we have sold off from this point, because obviously this is the back test in much the same way that you get the back tests when we're in a rising market. You get the pullback and then you basically get the breakout, and then you buy the pullback and then you continue upside. The inverse is exactly the same. You have the breakdown, you basically have the pullback and then you sell the retest, and that is what is going on here. That is why I basically was saying to get back above, to close back above 17,800, back above this new resistance zone, then would put us in the clear for basically trading out in this range and then potentially heading higher. But until we do that, the bias can only be to the downside. So in much the same way we had the levels to the upside, we have now got the, well, pretty much levels to the downside, and we can just call it the same level. I know we've wicked below twice. We haven't had any 4-hour candle closes below, although we got close. But yeah, you would say trading below, what would we call it? I mean, for the sake of ease, we'd call it 16,400. If we basically trade below 16,400 and especially close a 4-hour below there, then yeah, we've got to expect more downside. Obviously, first target 15.7. And then, well, potentially all the way down to 14k, and this is quite a big move to have in what would be a relative short space of time if that was to happen. But again, that is how you get corrections in bull markets. You climb the staircase and you go down the elevator shaft. So the fact we come down so quick does not mean that we then have to then get more continuation down and enter a new bear market. It just means that that's just how markets go down. they rise like this and they go down like that, and then yeah, we can just put in a base there and start to make our way up back to basically all-time highs and recent highs, I guess, and then all-time highs, which are basically around the same, and then beyond. So that is how I'm kind of looking at the market so far. Looking at the market at the moment, we are just waiting to put in a confirmed bottom, which would get confirmed obviously by breaking important levels. The important level at present being this level, but if we come lower, coming back test other levels. Say we come down to 14k, we come and back test around, or we just break below this level and then we come and back test it, and then we eventually take that level out again. I mean, that could then confirm a bottom at that point, and then we could be looking to more moves to the upside, and potentially with resistance here, but we would have at that point, in my view, confirmed a bottom. So that is all we're waiting for at the moment, is just to confirm a bottom in this current correction that we're having in what is I believe still I believe is almost certainly still a bull market in Bitcoin. One of those, I'll show you two of the reasons why I still believe that, and we're just having a correction. If we go to the DXY, this is still looking weak. This is still breaking down. I know that we have got a very nice looking descending wedge here, but is it gonna break to the upside and move move all the way back up to 94s? I do actually doubt that, just based on macro views. But my main point is, this is looking weak, and this is going to have an upward pressure on Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin had got fully extended in its move up, so it is perfectly normal for it to have a pullback just based on Bitcoin's move up alone, and profit taken in that move, and just exhaustion in that move. But the underlying dynamics of dollar weakness are still bullish for Bitcoin. So once Bitcoin basically lets off some of the steam from this move up and finds its footing, it then will be business as usual to the upside. Same with stocks, giving us the same indication. Stock market is looking good. We know this is correlated to Bitcoin as well. This is looking good. This is looking like it's going up. No indication of a trend change here. So the dollar is still looking bearish. Stocks are still looking strong. Bitcoin is having a pullback, obviously after a massive run, but overall the bias still has to clearly be to the upside, especially based on the DXY and stock markets. So yeah, we'll have a look at Bitcoin dominance as well. What is that doing? Rejected from our level. Yeah, I mean, hanging around in mid-zone here. We'll have to see whether we come and back test this level again or whether we move down and take it out. It will pretty much depend on the direction of Bitcoin, or if we just trade sideways and stabilize around this level. But I kind of think where we are, we could trade in here for a little bit and then basically break back above 17,800, then move to the upside. We could very likely do that, as I have shown a few times. The sort of initial big vicious move down in a pullback in Bitcoin can often be the low point of the move. So we could trade in this, maybe have a liquidity hunt just below briefly, but predominantly trade sideways in this range and then take it out and continue upwards. Would look perfectly normal, price action related, price action wise. Ethereum, Bitcoin as well, that has got nicely support at this level, so we kind of just need it to basically move its way up to the halfway point of this move. We could roughly call it this horizontal here, and then take that out, and then continuation to the upside would be on the cards. And then the USD as well. Yeah, I mean, we had a breakout from a major level, and then, I mean, we did have a very extended move out after we break out from that level, but we were still able to manage to come back and back test that level. So we have back tested the level. So now, is this the big buy? Was basically $500 roughly Ethereum the big buy before going onwards to 700 plus? It very likely could be. It would look nice in the price action. I wouldn't expect us just to jump straight up there now. Let's undo that. I wouldn't expect us to jump straight up there. I would expect some consolidation, potential drifting upwards, potential ascending triangle sort of price action, and then break up. Yeah, but otherwise, I do think this is looking good. It looks good until it doesn't, but at the moment it does look good, so that is fine. Let's have a quick look at Tesla. Look at Tesla. Reached our target. So when you do reach a target, the market's got to make a decision. Is it onwards and upwards, or is that it and we're going to come back down? So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, stocks generally speaking looking good, but yeah, tech stocks obviously not looking as good. But I guess Tesla's a tech stock, but it's not a stay-at-home stock, is it? In the way that some of the other tech stocks that had been performing extremely well were stay-at-home stocks. But yeah, that's Tesla. Let's have a look back at these stochastics, see if they can give us an inclination as to whether we can break back above this 17,800. What I would really like to see, best case scenario for Bitcoin, is for during well, I guess it's not actual US markets today because they're short. I was going to say during actual real market, traditional market open times to get back above 17,800, but like I said, the traditional markets are closed. So yeah, I just take back what I said, but it would be nice basically before the weekend at least anyway then to see a move above 17,800, and then we could potentially just consolidate at that level or above into the weekend. If we are living below, I just think the risk is to the downside for the weekend, and I just would personally rather see the risk to be to the upside and not to the downside. So we'll have a look at the stochastics. All this stochastic is going to give us an indication of any ability to get back above and close above 17,800. Well, the 4 hour is pretty deep. We do know it can stay pretty deep as much the same way it can stay pretty high, but if this just starts to get moving, that will give us some nice upward pressure. I believe that these are going to be looking, that anything above is still looking pretty weak, so we are looking for a turnaround, which in 10 hour is not present at the moment. 12 hour still diving pretty deeply, going to have a downward pressure on price action. 2 day has turned down, 3 day down, 5-day is now down, weekly is starting to curl, bi-weekly just still sat up there, monthly is clearly going to be looking good. So these I think will be the key. If Bitcoin can hold relatively, well, hold pretty much where it is, which would be some feat in the face of the 10, 12 and daily downward, fast, aggressively moving downward stochastics. If it can do that, then what we'll have from this point is a bullish reset of these stochastics whilst Bitcoin holds its price, and then when they eventually tap out with their move to the downside and start to curl back up, then I think we'll pretty quickly get back above 17,800. But obviously the flip side to that is, whilst they are coming down and we are below this level, there is going to be massive downward pressure on price. And I mean, just looking at this daily, 15,800 level below 16,000 does look like a pretty attainable target, a high probability attainable target to the downside. At that point, I would then potentially expect the bottom to be in. Some people potentially thinking it's in now, so maybe just catch them out, maybe a wick below, and then yeah, put in a base here, basically around 16k, and then start to move back up. That would look nice based on this this daily. Someone asked me to look at the 3-day the other day. Oh yeah, that was why. That would have been why. Yeah, 3-day TD sequential, along with the 5-day TD sequential that we had, along with the weekly TD sequential, just showing the power of the sequential basically. So there you go, look at that, absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. Like, we are all fans of the TD sequential here. Anyway, so yeah, that is it, guys. So remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys later on today.